of our 4 sessions here. So how's last week been for you?
Interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah, really active week. Trying new things in training sessions with myself so I can incorporate with clients. So yeah, I can say it's been a really active week. I'm actually excited that I have a few days off to rest and regroup.
Yeah, recuperate. And
Yeah.
that'll be nice. Yeah, those kind of breaks always seem to help us kind of gather ourselves mentally, physically. So that's really, really good that you got a couple of breaks here.
Yeah, it's one of those days that I don't need to pay attention to the alarm clock, so it's always a 2 thumbs up.
Yeah, those are always good days. So other than that, anything else interesting happened this past week since we spoke last?
Let me see. Well, professionally, since we're attacking doing a hybrid here, like I like to call it, I am very, very, very excited with my client because this week I planned on challenging her. I started to make like a base. It's like a structure. When you're training someone, you have to form that base and then you go up.
Mm-hmm.
So she had a lot of mobility issues. She still does, but she's a lot more confident and she's a lot stronger than she thought she would be. And the
Very
two
nice.
sessions that we've had so far have been really, really good. Really, really good. I'm very excited for her. She's like, oh my God, I feel better. And I told her today, your posture and your movement, it's all coming together. It's really, really fluid. You're not like thinking about it or sticking your way through. And that has helped me to actually gain a little bit of confidence in myself, seeing her succeed.
That's great.
It's like, okay, I'm doing something right.
Very nice. And now, is this the same client that we had talked about last week that you had just started working with?
Yes.
That one? Okay.
Yes.
Very nice. And so so that's great that we're still seeing that progress with her, and especially with this kind of work, seeing her successes and her progress is really a sign of your successes. And it's great that she's feeling more confident. I'm sure that's making you feel more confident in what you're doing. And that's great to hear. I'm really glad
really
that. Yeah,
really psyched about it.
I am also excited that this is really working out, because I know that you'd said it was kind of one of your first clients and you were kind of scared, didn't know how it was going to go. So I am definitely glad that's kind of working out for you. Now, I know last time we had talked about that the scheduling was kind of getting a little better after some more roles, and how not necessarily talking about the homework I gave you last time yet, but how has the scheduling from the gym and how your work is being divided, how's that going now?
Well, I think I'm a little bit more used to it.
Okay.
It's coming along, I think, really good. Like everything, it's a matter of adapting yourself to it. I have a couple, still have tough days.
Okay.
Really, really busy days. But nonetheless, they keep me busy and my mind distracted, and I'm just always looking forward to the next thing that I'm about to do.
Very nice. Now, can you describe the tough days that are still kind of intermixed in here? Can you kind of describe one of those to me?
Yeah, sure. For example, Tuesdays are my toughest days. They're really, really long. I'm in the gym from 6 a.m. all the way to 8 p.m. Different different responsibilities in the gym. One of them is giving classes. The other one is attending its client service. And I also have my PT client those days. And
so a lot on your plate, it seems, on Tuesdays, especially.
Yeah. when I get home, I just get like lay down on the couch and fall asleep, literally.
Yeah.
Yesterday, my mom had to wake me up, like, "Hey, go to your room." And I'm like, "Whoa, I didn't realize I fell asleep." Um,
Well,
but
yeah. No, that's understandable. That's definitely a long day from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. here. And especially when you have it really jam packed with all the stuff that you're doing, having to switch in between things and that sort of thing. Okay.
yeah,
And
definitely.
kind of speaking to that point of switching in between things, I know we had a little bit of homework last time. So how did that go?
I think it went well.
Okay.
I didn't particularly. I didn't want to pressure myself to actually put something on a schedule to say I have to do this. What
Okay.
I think I took like a different approach to it. Um, I made I recognized or like pointed out my free time. Free time. For example,
Yeah.
Tuesday, since we're talking about Tuesday, I have to drive back home. I have a small break from 8:15 till 10 a.m. So what I do is I drive back home and feed my dogs and let them do their stuff and then go back shower and go back to work. So what I did was, hey, I'm driving. While I'm driving, I can listen to music. I like singing, so
Okay.
maybe I'll just crank the volume up and sing along to whatever's on the radio. And that has been working a little bit. I know I've noticed that I'm happier. I'm more relaxed. Something that I didn't mention that I like to sing, but I do like to sing. I'm very
Okay.
shy about it.
Okay.
Um,
That's great though. Good to know.
but I went back to what I did years before, and singing relaxed me. So I did the same. I cranked up the volume and just went along singing. I imagine people driving through me and passing by, like, what the hell's wrong with her? Anyhow, it relaxed me, and it's a 15-minute drive. Honestly, it's not that. Yeah, 15 minute at the worst. It's not a long drive
Okay.
from work to home and vice versa. But I'm using that time to actually just not think about anything and just enjoy the music, enjoy the drive, and whatnot. Also, I shower. I have to shower really fast, so I don't particularly do anything. I literally shower in 3 minutes,
Oh,
literal. So it's a fast-paced type of thing. Like, get wet, soap, let's go.
yeah.
But basically, I driving it's like my downtime.
Okay. So that's great. Yeah. Perfect that you can find that spot to really point out, okay, here I have some time where my thoughts can maybe shift away from work, take some stuff off of my mind. So that's really great that you did find that time. And I think we're going, there's some tools that I want to work on later with you in this session that I think will help kind of add to that. Some things that you can do during that time. Um, I don't want to take away from singing. If singing relaxes you, that's perfect. We want to find something that's going to bring those anxiety levels down, bring those stress levels down. And if singing's the way to go, perfect. Everyone's different. So we want to really use what's going to work for you. But I'll give you, like I said, we'll go over a few other things that will not only help us during this time, but maybe some of those times where it's not an extended break per se, where maybe you're just switching from one area to the gym, one area of the gym to another, or switching roles or something. So I kind of want to introduce a couple of things that can be done quickly, that can be done really anywhere. You don't need any kind of special equipment to do them. And I think introducing some of those along with some of the things that you already said are working, like the singing, like the kind of just taking your mind off of things. I think those in combination are really going to help us to bring some of those anxiety levels down when it's a really fast paced day. So like you said, Tuesday, maybe when you're switching from one of those classes, or even switching from one class to the next, or
Hmm.
switching from a class to client service or to to one of your personal training clients, well, you can use some of that time to get some of that relaxation in as well. So yeah, that's really great. Like I said, I'm really impressed, really proud that you took the time to not only notice when you had those breaks, but to see what kind of worked for you. And I'm glad that you had that recognition that, hey, singing worked in the past, maybe it can work now. That's a great step to take. And so I
Thank you.
applaud you for that.
Yay.
Alrighty, so let's go with I know you said you kind of have a couple days break coming off here. Do you have
Yeah.
any plans, anything that you're gonna do to kind of take your mind off of things, get out of the work spirit, that sort of thing?
I've been thinking about it. Typically, what I do is visit my mare, my horse.
Okay.
So I'm planning on Saturday since I don't have to go to work and give class. When I wake up without my alarm clock, go visit her and have some downtime. It relaxes me. It's my mood changer. I like to call her my mood changer.
Okay. Can you
Yeah,
explain that a little more to me?
let's see how I can put it into words. Maybe going back in time. I started horseback riding when I was 2 years old.
Okay.
There's a funny story to that. There's a local place here, east side of the island, that rent horses, and my family went. They rented a horse for me, and that horse went running. Like he went.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and I
I'm
was two
sure
years
that was
old.
I'm sure that was a scary experience at 2 years.
Well, apparently it wasn't.
Okay.
I was laughing, and I was
That's
again,
good to know.
again, let's do it again.
Well, that's a great attitude.
Since then, my grandfather noticed, and uh, he started taking me. Actually, this I don't have like a lot of memories from when exactly he took me horseback riding. Almost every weekend, every
Okay.
Saturday, he started off leading the rope with any given horse. Then I took riding lessons, and at 8 years old, my birthday gift was my mare. My grandfather passed away in a motorcycle accident. So my only, and I was very close to him.
Hmm.
So my only link to my grandfather was my mare, is my mare. Maybe that's the main reason why I say she's my mood changer.
Okay. So
Maybe.
kind of what I'm getting is it's a connection to a loved one that may
Mhm.
not be here anymore, but you can kind of still feel him, have that sense that he's still there with you when you're riding that horse, since that's something he used to do with you all the time. And I'm kind of getting that it has the ability to maybe take something that wasn't such a good day and make it a better day. Just that
Definitely.
sense of him being with you.
Definitely. A recent example, it was about a month and a half ago. No, maybe less. Since battling the anxiety, it's been a while. It's not that recent. Um, so about month and a half, almost 2 months ago, I decided that I needed to see her. Um, Horseback riding or my mare has been an issue with my mother.
Okay.
She used to tell me that it was a privilege, not a responsibility. And every time I went to see her or ride her, it was like a time frame. Like if you leave the house at 9 a.m., you have to come back at 12. I live almost an hour away from where she's at. So
Okay.
if I leave at 9, let's say I get there at 10:15, I take her out of the stable, I brush her, I let her loose, then I saddle her up. It's a long process that at noon I wasn't going to be able to get home, even
Okay.
less with an hour drive back. So there was always this clash between
Okay.
my mom and I when I went horseback riding. And as I mentioned, she said it was a privilege, not responsibility. And every time she would punish me, she would do it by two things: saying I couldn't go to see my mare, which her name is Máquina,
Okay.
and means machine. She was really, really fast.
Very nice.
And
Yeah, I like it.
yeah, uh, good memories, good memories. I can't ride her anymore. She's really old. She's about 27 years old.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Yeah, I've had it since I
Yep.
was 8.
That's right.
It's 20 years with me, and she was already 5 to 6 years when I got her. So it's
Okay.
it's a rough estimate. Um, and the other punishment was taking my books away. I like reading, so she would take my books away.
Okay.
Anyhow, when I started college, I battled depression, and I went up. I think I mentioned this. I'm not so sure. I went up to 223 pounds.
Yeah, I do remember you mentioning that.
Yeah, and while battling depression and the fact that I was so heavy, I literally lived in my room. I didn't go out. I didn't talk to anyone. Nothing.
Okay.
Absolutely nothing. And it's been years, 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 years. So I basically abandoned my mare. I could go 5, 6, 7 years without seeing her because I
Okay.
said that I was so heavy that I couldn't ride her, and that I didn't know how to deal with the fact that I couldn't ride her anymore.
Okay.
So 2 months back, month and a half, 2 months back, I saw myself falling in the same pattern when I was battling depression. And I
Okay.
stopped myself and I said, no, 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 no. You need to stop this. You're not going back. You're
Okay.
not, you're not going back. And one thing I realized last time when I actually got out of the hole, like I call it, I did a couple things that was like closure to me. I visited my grandfather's um, grave. I didn't before. The last time I was there, it was the day he was buried.
Okay.
So he's passed almost 20 years now. So I went 3 years ago,
Okay.
and I faced my mom with some issues that I thought were important to tell her that I needed to deal with, and that worked. I lost 23 pounds. I know I'm measuring it by numbers. I'm not supposed to, but it's like a I'm trying to see it as a way of something working.
Yeah, that's a good way to keep track. I can understand that.
And well, I did the same. I said I haven't seen my mirror in years. I actually was scared. I didn't know what I was going to see. I didn't know I have a connection with animals. I deal with dogs every single day. So I felt so guilty and so ashamed, mostly ashamed, that I didn't take responsibility, that I didn't face my mother when I had to, and that I didn't even face my own fears and worries, that I know she wouldn't judge my weight, my current situation, or anything. Anyhow, I said, time to go. You need to go. You need to see her, and you need to close this cycle and this negative feeling that you have in your life.
Okay.
I went. I went to see her, and I have to admit, I was crying
Okay.
all the way, like a baby. When I got there, I cried. When I got to her stable and talked to her, she recognized my voice, and that's when I melted. I crumbled. I had to leave again and then come back when I was settled down so I could take her out.
Okay.
And I felt so much peace. Like, wow, why did I wait so long for this? I didn't even ride her. I just walked her, brushed her, talked to her, be with her. It was about 30 minutes, 20 to 30 minutes, and it was enough for me to feel, wow, this is my thing. This is what I need to do to balance my hectic life. And
Very nice.
it's like, it's my hobby. I like horseback riding. It relaxes me. it has an emotional feeling to it, an emotional link to it. My grandfather introduced me to horses, so there's a link.
Okay.
So yeah, I don't know if I explained why it's exactly a mood changer,
Yeah, no, that's great.
but
So yeah, I'm really getting that emotional connection, that ability for um, not just the horse, but also what the horse represents, to be able to control, bring control and order to what can kind of seem hectic and chaotic sometimes around you.
definitely.
Um, so that's really good. Um, again, I'm really impressed at your recognition skill and your ability to kind of
My mom got out of the room. Sorry about that.
not a problem. Um, but yeah, like I was saying, I'm really proud that you have this recognition skill to be able to see yourself going down that same path and recognize, hey, I need to change it, and then even take it that step further and say, how am I going to change it? And the recognition that something that has such an emotional attachment, like your mare, that's great that you could recognize that and then act upon it. And that actually kind of is a perfect segue into one of the techniques that I really wanted to kind of introduce and to work on a little bit. And I think that this would be the perfect time to do so with kind of with the that imagery fresh in our mind of the horse and the horseback riding. Um, as well as now kind of having these couple of days off, the ability to maybe actually go visit her, like you said, on Saturday here.
Mhm.
And so I think this is all going to work really well together to get the full effect of this activity and what I think it can provide for you. So I'm going to go ahead and screen share um, a document that I have here. Alrighty. Can you see that on the screen there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect. All right. So what I wanted to discuss and why I think this is going to be a perfect segue into that is, like I said, a couple of techniques on how we can kind of get ourselves to relax more in the moment, where we don't need that break or that car ride to be able to sing out loud or something like that. Maybe something that we can do a little more by ourselves, a little more conservative, and something that we can do on the go almost anywhere. And so one of the things that I wanted to try was working on some imagery. So do you know how would you describe imagery to me?
Um, well, by the name, I would say an image, like trying to visualize something.
Perfect. That's a great start. So yeah, what imagery is uh, kind of a good definition of it is being able to see something in, I don't know if this term will be familiar to you, but in our mind's eye. So being able to project scenarios or certain places or things that are occurring in our mind, and the ability to kind of do that without needing to be in that place. It's kind of the ability to create or recreate experiences in our mind. Um, and so there's a couple reasons why I think it's great to use imagery in relaxation. So one of them is, like I said, it can be done anywhere at any time. You don't need any particular equipment or anything like that. So it's a great tool to kind of use when you're on the go, when you're transitioning between all these classes and the different roles that you have in the gym. It'll give us a tool that you can use when, hey, I have 2 minutes, I have 5 minutes before I need to be at this next class. Let me take a second. I'm really stressed out right now. Let's take a second, just calm down, and maybe use some imagery to kind of relax ourselves. So what we're going to do is we are going to go through this sheet here, and we're going to answer some of these questions and kind of see what is going to work best. And normally when I would start this with someone, as you can kind of see that first question up there is, what is the most relaxing place for you? Normally we would kind of sit here, brainstorm these kind of things, maybe something like the beach or maybe a meadow or something like that. But what I think is going to be really helpful and really powerful after working or after just our conversation about your little mood changer here, I think if it's all right with you, if we can kind of work going off of that, and maybe not just necessarily the most relaxing place, but kind of a place tied with an action, riding the horse, being able to see the horse, brush the horse, just that whole kind of everything encompassed within horseback riding. And I just kind of wanted to get your thoughts on how you feel about that.
Actually, when I read the question, I literally had like a split image. Like,
Okay. What was
I
that?
had I had my mare on one side, like facing me, and then I had a house we have close by that goes hand in hand with me horseback riding, and
Okay.
I call it my not my sanctuary. I should call it my sanctuary, but it also is attached to my grandfather and some family traditions that we used to have. All my weekends were spent in that house as a kid, and actually the location, it's really relaxing. It doesn't have a lot of people there. There's not a lot of noise, and well, yeah. Reading the first question, I just had this split image of that particular house and my gorda, like I like to call her, my mare.
Okay. Then that is perfect. I'm really glad that that does tie in with you and really resonates, because I think the more the image means something to you, the more it's going to help. And to have such a powerful image tied to something so relaxing for you, that's great. And like I said, it doesn't necessarily just have to be the place or just the image of the horse. It can be the whole kind of, it can encompass the whole thing. It can be riding, it can be brushing, it can be, like you said, just walking her around. And what I think we're going to use kind of the next couple of days to do is to practice this a little and to really work out, okay, what's going to be the most relaxing for me. Maybe you want to change it up, depending on the circumstance. Maybe visualizing riding is going to help with issue A, whereas maybe just kind of picturing the place, walking her around, brushing her is going to help in a different scenario. So that's great, though. Great place to start. So we're going to go to the next thing on the sheet here. And I want to come back to kind of the definition that you gave me of imagery, and use the word visualize.
Mhm.
And that is great. We definitely want to be able to kind of see that image in our mind. But one of the most powerful things about imagery is we can kind of use all of our senses to create a really robust experience. And by incorporating different sounds, different smells, the feeling, maybe as you're riding, you can feel the wind through your hair or something like that. Incorporating all of these is going to make the image and the imagery that much more powerful. And when we have a more powerful image, the better it's going to help us to relax. So what we're gonna do now is I just kind of want you to discuss with me some of the details about the place, and like I said, try to incorporate all all of the senses. That's gonna really create the most powerful image. So if we want to start with some of your choice, you want to go sights,
Yes,
sounds, smells, your choice.
definitely. I'll try to walk you through the
Okay,
house. Um,
that'll be great.
Basically, it was a hotel prior
Okay,
to making it a house. It was very old, so it's very rustic. Um, when you go in the when you're reaching the entrance of the complex, there's some cobblestones. So automatically, when I feel the cobblestones in my car, like in the tires or in my hands, the vibration, it's like, oh yes, I'm here. It's excitement. It's like associating the cobblestones and the vibration with I am finally gonna be able to relax and spend some me time.
great.
Um, so then when you go into the parking lot, there's like a couple stairs. Really rustic. It's like a reddish sort of color. Um, it has a really nice landscape. It's really taken care of. When you there's wooden doors everywhere, so there's a very, as I mentioned, rustic feeling to it and humid. We have a lot of humidity here in Puerto Rico, so it's
Okay,
not,
so you can kind of feel the humidity.
yeah, it's really humid, but it's not like an annoying smell. It's a combination with the smell of old wood and just a tight like the smell when it rains after the rain. That's like the combo with wood and a little bit of rain. It's how it smells.
Okay,
And
what kind of sounds stick out?
that's what I'm trying to figure out. It's so silent, actually.
Okay, well that's great to notice as well. To maybe not to pick up on a certain sound, but to really notice the silence. So that's something you can definitely incorporate into that imagery.
Yeah, normally what you would listen to, it's in the morning, some birds singing, and some golf players. The complex has a golf course, so sometimes you hear the swoosh of the ball. You have to be careful though, because if you're in the balcony, you can get hit by a ball,
Okay.
actually. Um, but other than that, it's very, very, very silent. Very silent.
Okay. That's great to incorporate into there. Um,
What else I can think of?
so let's see.
Cute.
I think this is a good start. We kind of touched on uh, most of the senses. I know a lot of times it can be hard to incorporate them all, especially in a scenario like this. Taste might be a hard one to kind of incorporate. Um, but yeah, this is a great start to really forming that imagery. You know, I really like how you took me kind of on like a tour of the place as we're coming up to it. That was really good. I think that's gonna help you even create a stronger image in your mind, being able to not only visualize that, but then really describe it and into to me in such a nice way that I kind of feel like I was there. Um, so thank you for that. So we'll go on to the next part, which we kind of already have a little bit of. We kind of already talked about this a little bit, but why is this place so relaxing to you? And if you want to think of a couple of words or a couple of phrases, why this place is so relaxing.
Tradition. Um, family tradition.
Okay.
It's like a getaway. Uh, it's so it's not that far away from the metropolitan area, but it's about an hour away. It's a tourist complex, so it's odd to actually not have a lot of movement because there's a hotel nearby. Um, but mostly it represents tradition. It represents a getaway that my grandfather and my grandmother used to um, go to every weekend to just
Okay.
relax. And for the latest memory I have is my grandmother. My grandmother writes scripts and does documentaries and movies. And when she needs to just stay away from every distraction, she goes there. And an interesting memory that just came to me. She uses meditation music,
Okay.
and I would wake up to that music every single day. But I associate that with being in a low key mood and just like the Bob Marley song "Don't Worry, Be Happy."
Yeah. So kind of being in a relaxing place
Yeah,
and
it's
at a relaxing time. And so, yeah, that's great that that you would bring that up. That's definitely something we can kind of incorporate into this imagery.
it's actually automatic. Like even knowing that I'm going there, it's automatic. I'm automatically in a positive state of mind. It's also my link to my mare. Like I know if I am there as a kid, if going to Rio Mar, my mother said, "Oh, you're going with your grandfather. You're going to Rio Mar." That would automatically mean I'm going horseback riding.
Yeah.
So it kind of links together.
Okay. That's great.
Yeah,
So yeah. So then um, these are some great things to kind of keep in mind while you're going through this imagery, that to keep in mind the tradition, to keep in mind that it's really a getaway for you. And I think it's really great to keep in mind that it kind of signals automatic relaxation for you, because that's really gonna, your body's kind of already conditioned to see this place as relaxing. And so, and since you kind of automatically feel relaxed thinking about this place, I think it's going to be a great, really powerful image to use to kind of relax yourself, bring those tension and stress levels down. Um,
definitely. I agree.
and So yeah, that's great. And so we kind of already can tell that this place is fairly easy for you to imagine, I would assume,
Yeah.
since you did such a great job kind of explaining it to me. And we kind of linked that to just the tradition and the strong memories you have with the place and with your grandpa and with being able to go horseback riding. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect. Alrighty, so this bottom half we are actually not going to do right now. That is going to be a little piece of homework for you over this next week. So what we're going to do with this is over the next couple of days, um, kind of while you're already in a relaxed state, while you're not worrying about work, I kind of want you to practice some of this imagery, practice using all of your senses to really recreate that horseback riding experience for yourself. Use some of the things, if you do happen to make it out there on Saturday, use some of those, use some of the experiences that you pick up and take note of your surroundings and really what makes you relaxed about this, and try to then incorporate those into your imagery. It doesn't have this image doesn't have to be a set something that, okay, every time I need to relax, I'm gonna imagine walking up to the house, doing this, this, and this. It can be fluid. It can be changing. And so kind of notice those things that really, really make you relaxed, and really notice how relaxed you are. And like I said, incorporate them into your practice. And once we kind of start the practice with this, then we can kind of work it into your work schedule and that sort of thing. So I don't necessarily want you to go jumping in right now and thinking, okay, I'm gonna feel stressed at work. I'm gonna just stand there for a minute, imagine this, it's gonna be all better. It does take a little bit of practice. So like I said, use these next couple of days to work on it. And if you feel that you're really strong with it and that it might help, go ahead and try it. I would encourage that if you feel that way. If not, let's kind of revisit this next week when we talk, and we can kind of go through it and really see what worked, what didn't, and how we can then kind of turn practice into kind of making it, then transitioning it to working in an actual scenario where there's actual stress and that sort of thing. Does that sound reasonable? Sound good with you?
Very.
Okay, perfect.
I do have a question though.
What was that?
I do have a question about the imagery homework.
Okay.
Do you want me to just like write something, like everything that I notice that relaxes me, or every feeling, smell, etc. that I
No. So we already kind of went through those. So
yeah.
those top questions you don't even necessarily need to worry about. Kind of discussing them. They're really questions to get you thinking about it, and to get you. It helps people a lot when they don't really have a relaxing scenario right in front of them that they can think of, and it kind of helps them build an experience. But with having such a rich experience already, these things we can kind of just discuss, and then just know, okay, we already have this in place. Now let's practice it. Let's work on it.
Okay.
So what I really would like you to focus on, kind of for the homework here, is that bottom half, kind of starting with rate your tension and stress levels. And so what I would like you to do is kind of, you can use this one here if you only really want to work on it once or so. If you want to use kind of copy this model, if you want to do it a few times, that'll work. But what I think this will help with is, if you find yourself in the next couple of days in a scenario where you're saying, hey, I'm a little anxious, I feel myself being a little stressed, I feel tense, go ahead and stop. Take a moment to kind of think about, okay, well, how tense am I? How stressed am I? Kind of use this rating scale to rate that, and then use that imagery that we're practicing, try to incorporate all those senses, and then revisit your stress levels and say, okay, did this make me feel better? How did it help? And then kind of just, again, not necessarily needing to answer that bottom question, but see, was there a significant change? If there was, great. Maybe that's something we want to practice more. If there wasn't, okay, not a big deal. Maybe that particular thing didn't work. Next time, let's see, when we start noticing that stress and that tension, okay, maybe I'll try something a little different now. And then using this same model, okay, now did that work? Did I see a significant improvement? So were there any other questions kind of about the homework, or?
No, I think I got it now. Maybe if I go on Saturday, would it help? Maybe take a picture or video. I don't know.
I'll stop you right there. Yes, that would be great. Anything that you think might help it's not going to hurt to take video or pictures of that, because then that's going to allow you to bring it with you and kind of recreate those rich experiences. So I'm going to go ahead and bring you back here. So yes, if you go out there and you notice, hey, just seeing her in the stable or something like that made me so relaxed, go ahead, take a picture of it, take a video of it. That's going to help you with your imagery practice. It's going to help you build a stronger image, and it's going to give you something to look back on and say, okay, maybe if I pay attention to this, when I was standing here taking this picture, I felt really relaxed looking at this. Let's kind of focus on that. Let's kind of build in some of those sounds, some of those smells into that image, and then let's go ahead and practice that one. Like I said, this isn't an easy skill. It's a skill that I feel that you can handle from everything that you've showed me thus far. You seem to do a great job, and I do think that you can handle this. But again, that being said, it's not an easy skill. That's kind of why I like to have clients practice this skill, because it does take some time to really be able to focus and to create that experience in the manner that's going to help us in the best way. So yeah, pictures, videos, anything that you think is going to help you build that image would be great. I highly would recommend doing that.
Perfect. Will do.
Alrighty. So other than that, did you have any questions about what we talked about today? Anything that you want to remind me before next week? Anything like that?
No, I'm pretty excited.
Okay.
As I mentioned, excited that my alarm clock does not turn on tomorrow,
Yes.
or Friday, or Saturday.
Definitely take advantage of that.
Yeah, definitely. I'm
Definitely
sleeping.
good to
I
get.
always say I'm sleeping in and I wake up early.
Hey, but then at least you know you don't have to do anything. You can go back to bed if you want.
True.
All right, Millie. Well, again, I wish you the best. I hope you enjoy these couple of days off.
Thank you.
Practice, practice, practice. If you have any questions or anything, don't hesitate to contact me. And if there's no questions right now, then we'll say goodbye for this week, and I'll see you next week for our last session here. I'm really excited. I'm really proud of the progress you made so far, and glad to have this chance to work with you, and I'm excited for next week.
Yay, me too.
Alrighty, well, you have a great night, and like I said, enjoy those 3 days off.
Will do. Definitely.
Alrighty, we'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Bye.